Hey guys, I am DM Zone. This is Gamers Oasis. Let's get into this. All right, so this crafting run here is after a series of mining that was attempted to get 1,000 runs of the basic filter. Um, that requires a total of 50 ped worth of stuff found. So you can imagine that in my typical 30 run ped runs, um, I'm not going to find 50 ped generally of the stuff I need, which ends up being, I want to say it's 30 ped worth of Listerium and only 20 ped worth of oil. So that's a lot. Um, and the place that everyone was telling me I should go, which I knew about, but I had not been to yet, was Acapulco. I'd been, but not like since I was far along in mining and that type of stuff, and not since I'd been this far along in my game history. I guess would be a great way of wording it. It was for sure it would be a new experience even if I had been there prior, because everything would be completely different. Um, I'm not using a trade terminal finder. I'm using the F101. I'm actually fully skilled on the F101. So we went ahead and did a 30 ped hunt or mine. I ended up getting a fair amount of stuff, like I want to say 25 ped worth. It would have been cheaper, I guess, to buy it outright, but then I'm not getting the skill for the mining, and I would rather take a 5 ped loss to gain the skills in mining and have a chance at a Hoff or a global than to not and just get the standard amount. If I was a crafter only, if I was never wanting to be into the mining, then I think that would make more sense. But for my playstyle, I don't necessarily feel like that made a whole lot of sense. All right, so I ended up doing a second mining hunt. So 60 pad thrown at this. I ended up getting a decent amount. I was profitable by like 4 ped, I think, on the second time. And so, now I'm back to about neg 1 for over the 60 ped. And I now have enough based upon the stuff I already had, plus the stuff that was already there to do this. And as you'll see, like the locations pop up just to show you that I was in, Acapulco. But just imagine, it doesn't really matter a whole lot where you go. I'm sure there are some islands that are more known for Listerium than oil, or oil versus Listerium. But all Acapulco has is oil and Listerium. If you don't know that, on Cali, there's a series of islands. They're large islands, and these islands only have 2 resources on them. Which makes it very nice if you're trying to level up a blueprint like basic filters. And, my thought is this is perfect for me until I get my blueprint to where basically it's a 95% build, or not fail. 95% of the time I'm not failing. Once I get to that, then I'm probably going to change up a little bit about what I'm doing, but I want to do that because it can get blueprints that kick off, that spawn from it, or whatever you want to say, and that will happen on different plants. Maybe while I'm mining, I'll just break out the basic filters again, go ahead and run it again, that type of stuff. Maybe do a couple runs of the mega runs, because I found that one mega run isn't quite enough return, at least at my skill level, to be able to do a sale at the right percentage amount. I really like to have 2. I may not use all of it, but it allows me to get that percentage I want on the auction, and that's very important. Also, if you do it on Monria, or if you do it on Calypso, that counts towards the still waiting on supplies, which is an amazing thing, because that would allow me to get the 0.75 of a PED or 75 PEC skills worth of engineering, which helps all my skills across the board for the most part. I think it does actually. So that would be it's a big general push towards a lot of things. It doesn't help like if you had, let's say, 0.10 or 0.1, and you had that just in mechanical engineering, the one I'm kind of leveling up or trying to get number one. If I had just that, then that would be more than 0.75 in engineering. But 0.75 engineering also helps my metal engineering, also helps my electrical engineering. All three of those are engineering paths you find within the component blueprint book. So that's all three of these are going to be working hand in hand with each other. So that's kind of a good thing. It also gets you down tools and a bunch of other things. And I'm not 100% sure which way I want to go. I wanted to be a armor smith at one point in time. But boy, it's a really tough one to enter. You look at the beginning blueprint and you're like, okay, my beginning blueprint requires for a settlement foot guards, requires iron. Okay, let's go find out how much iron is. Okay, so I'm going to be spending like, oh my lord, that's a lot. And iron's got markup. Oh, I think when I looked at it, like 109% is what it was. And I think it's usually up from that. So I was like, oh, here we go. Like that's a lot. This is where the cost begins. I was just looking for something a little bit neutral and like day one entering into the crafting. So obviously I went into something a little bit easier with the compound B because there was a person that actually needed it. Compound B actually turned out to be a mechanical engineer component, so that works out great. It was sort of a happy accident. Then basic filters, one of the best low-level blueprints to level on, is also a mechanical engineer, so that works out great. There's a couple others that are right there along the way that are going to be super nice to have. And that's kind of like the whole point of it, is I found a good synergy in mechanical engineer. I want to get high enough in that to get to where I have blueprint comprehension. And I want to continue doing the Monria waiting on supplies for the general bonus. But I watched a Stevie B video a long time ago, and he talked about this and his pathway and how he did it and how he recommends vehicle structure repair. And I'm not against vehicle structure repair. It's just not my pathway in this moment. As a free-to-play player, I don't have the ability to put into it. I was listening to another guy, and I forget his name right off the top of my head, but he has a whole series on crafting and this type of stuff. And I'll try and remember to link to it. But he also has his opinions on things, and some of them I agree and some of them I don't agree. But he talked about the fact that vehicle structure engineers, he broke down which was the best way. Some people use explosive projectiles 1. Some people do the vehicle structure repair. Some people do just pick a craft and go. And then trying to get to where you get comprehend blueprints, And what he found was that the fastest, most reliable way for sure is the vehicle structure repair. The going to a mothership and just hit and repair over and over and over again for mind-numbing amounts of time. And that gets you skill, and that gets you where you want to be quickly-ish. But it is probably the most expensive way to do it. Right behind it, or right after it, or just ahead of it, I don't know, was the explosive projectile 1 path. It is the easiest way to find the components. Basically, you go to the trade terminal, you buy nano components, that's your components. You go ahead and make it. That was what their video said. Since then, there's been a change to welding wire. And I'm going to go ahead and post up here a thing that shows the cost of welding wire and how much of welding wire I have. And it's going to be kind of ridiculous. I've been saving my welding wire limited blueprints. They now stack. Thank you, Mindark, for that, which is awesome. So now I have a stack of 538 uses of welding wire. It looks like it comes from several continents. It would be super nice to be able to make that at some place central like Calypso, so that I would have it all right there. I could use it with my waiting on supplies, or I could do it on Monria for waiting supplies. The Monria is a little bit out of the way, but there's no way I'm going to get like Nawa parts on there unless I use the auction hall to buy it, or unless they are not lootable in PvP, and I could go ahead and go to like Toulon, unless I go to Toulon, unless they're not lootable when I fly from Toulon to wherever I'm going to do this. My original thought was I continue to make the things that was getting this for me, and then when I got to 1,000 crafts, I would do like the ultimate mega craft of having like welding wire for 1,000 runs. You know, back before all it cost so much. Now it'd even be harder. So the basic concept was I'd go ahead and do it 1,000 crafts of the welding wire. I'd take that welding wire, have her hundreds to over 1,000 plus. I would go ahead and then take that to a mothership, and then I would stay in the mothership until it was all gone. So that's the basic concept of what I was planning on doing initially. And I think this plan still works. It's just a little bit different is all. Essentially, I don't know if the amount is the same or more because the cost of making the blueprint has gone up. The assumption is that since the cost of the welding wire has gone up, that the amount of welding wire that is produced is greater. The reason why I've heard they did it was to kind of balance it, to make it so that it required more planets. Therefore, it couldn't just be done on a singular planet and then moved on. You know what I'm saying? So I guess to that degree, I understand. I hope they didn't make it so exclusive, though. It made it harder. And unless, mothership, skill runs aren't necessarily what they were hoping the game would be. I don't know. But yeah, anyways. So that's like one aspect of what I'm doing. I think the interesting thing from a change in the welding wire is kind of like if we were to equate to today's inflation. It's not the $2 more in at each time you fill up the gas tank that's really the problem. I mean, if I put 10 gallons in, is $20 extra a problem? Yes and no. $20 extra is a lot of food. $20 extra is a lot of whatever. Will it depend normally if I just got paid, if I can get, a full tank of gas and put 10 gallons in or not? Probably not. But where that 10 gallons matters is in the ripple effects from there. So maybe I'm not so efficient with my money, with my gas. Maybe I'm inefficient because I drive a semi or because it's a train, which is more efficient than some other things, right? And even today, the world's different. But let's just go with the fact that maybe I don't have the most efficient system, or I'm a farmer and I have to plow fields, or I fly planes, or a great number of things. All these things could be reasons why I have layers of $2 more a gallon of gas is a problem. So let's just take the farmer. The farmer pays $2 more a gallon for his gas, so that increases the bulk of whatever he's doing by $2 a gallon. The truck driving it from the farmer's field to the either the market or to the company that is then shipping it across seas, or to the company that is shipping it across state, or to the company that receives it on the other end that now has to ship it to somewhere else, because we're multi layers of people touching it before they get there. Maybe because gas went up by $2 a gallon, and they have to pay employees to show up, they have to raise how much they pay, which then in turn raises how much we pay at the store, because the store has to pay their people more, because the truck driver has to make more, because the company that was warehousing has to pay more, so on and so on. I mean, you've seen where this inflation goes. And then maybe it goes to a fast food restaurant, which went from, I mean, look at McDonald's. McDonald's was probably $8.50 an hour to a little less than 2 years ago, to now it's over $13 an hour where I live. So that's $5 more an hour, and they look like they have more employees. So, maybe some of that is subsidized by the government, and then that gets then fed back into our taxes, which means we have more money taken out of our taxes, and blah, 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 and so on and so on. So I'm not necessarily worried about the change in the welding wire. I'm interested in what that does to everything else. If people have to scale a different way, if people aren't doing mothership runs, if they get rid of space, and have these direct jumps from planet to planet like they're talking about, the price of welding wire could just plummet. And they've made it more difficult. That could be like the 1-2 punch. Or maybe because no one's making it, because they think it's going to be like that, maybe it'll go up, because the demand is still there for the private sector, versus the mothership. And there will be reasons why they need to keep this around. Maybe they'll have welding wire be used to build stuff in crafting or in building repair in certain places. Like there is that place, I guess, in Cali where you can rent the space of the event or cause an event to happen, where it's like even the land takes structure points, and that type of stuff. And that gives you a chance to heal maybe the land. Maybe they'll do that in all sorts of PvP. Maybe that's a oil rig thing where you have some people that are trying to destroy it to get oil, and then you have other people that are trying to repair it, or maybe the same people are trying to destroy it are also trying to repair it, so that the skill points are there versus elsewhere. I think there's a lot of interesting ways that this could be done, and we can go from there. So let me go ahead and wrap up this video. As you can see, I didn't actually get any blueprints on this run at all. That is actually surprising. I'll tell you that in my other ones, I do get blueprints. I have sped this up because running this 1000 craft is a little over an hour, and that is way too long. If you want to see more videos like this, realize I'm free to play. This is a huge amount of work for me to put this out. Please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you're interested in seeing more of these. And thank you guys, I appreciate it. And let's get some more blueprints, because man, I've heard it's supposed to be 3 to 6 every 500. I didn't get any this time. I got my butt whooped, as a particular YouTuber might say. Thank you.